Hello and welcome to our virtual class. I am Svetlana Cotovan-Naval and I am a teacher at Mihai Minescu Lyceum. Let me start with a quotation by Anna Quindlen. Books are the train on the roads. They are the destination and the journey. They are home. So, if we are looking at the words that I have said, we have understand that we are going to speak about books. Today, at the lesson, we will make up sentences using the new vocabulary words. We will match the parts of the sentences and find out about an English writer, Daniel Defoe, read the text for comprehension, and answer the questions based on the acquired information. Let's start with a warming up atmosphere. I want you to look at these questions that we have here. Let's try to answer. What book are you reading at the moment? Who is the author of the book? As for me, I am reading The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. Told by multiple voices across time, The Clockmaker's Daughter is a story of murder, mystery, and thievery, of art, love, and loss. And flowing through its pages like a river, it's the voice of a woman who starts outside time, whose name has been forgotten by history, but who has watched it all unfold, Birdie Bell, the clockmaker's daughter. So, I think everyone is reading something at the moment. As you have already understood, we are going to discuss today about books. To do it fluently, we need to study the new words and to see their definitions. So let's start. Journey, călătorie, an act of traveling from one place to another. Wealthy, having a great deal of money, resources, or assets, rich, bogăție. Sailor, a person whose job is to work as a member of a crew of a commercial or naval ship or board. Marinar. Sail, travel in a boat with sails, especially as a sport or recreation. Afraid, feeling fear or anxiety, frightened. Speriat. Forget, fail to remember. Rough, having an uneven or irregular surface, not smooth or level. Now, to see how well do you remember the words, you have to make up a sentence of your own, including in it 2 or 3 words from the list. We have journey, sailor, afraid, rough, wealthy, to sail, or to forget. I have done one for you, so be attentive as an example. Sailors are afraid of their every journey. Another one, we have wealthy people forget quickly that one day their hands were rough of work. So if you are looking here in this example, I have included 3 of the words from the list. Now, look at the picture and say, whom do you see? Do you recognize him? Look at the hints I have prepared for you and tell if you know who the person is. So, this person was born in London in 1660 and died in 1731. He is considered one of the first supporters of the novel as a genre. Started to write novels when he was about 60, so we see that it is pretty old. So we have here one of his masterpieces, another one, the Journal of Plague Year, and the third most important, his work is Moll Flandre. So, do you recognize him? Yes, so this is Daniel Defoe. Now we will find more information about this writer if we match correctly the 2 parts of the sentences. So, The English writer Daniel Defoe was born in 1660, as you have already seen. He was the son of wealthy parents and received a good education. His father wanted him to become, of course, a priest. But young Defoe refused to be a priest, and for many years he was a sailor. Then he became a journalist. Daniel Defoe was an old man of 60 when he wrote his first book. It was a book about the life and adventure of a sailor, Robinson Crusoe by name. Everybody knows this book, do you? It is translated into many languages. Grown-ups and children read it with great pleasure. So, now I suggest you to listen attentively to the text and say why Robinson decided not to go home after his first journey. Let's start. My name is Robinson Crusoe, and I was born in the city of York, in the north of England. My father was German, but he came to live and work in England. Soon after that, he married my mother, who was English. Her family name was Robinson, so when I was born, they called me Robinson after her. My father did well in his business, and I went to a good school. He wanted me to get a good job and live a quite comfortable life. But I didn't want that. I wanted adventure and an exciting life. I want to be a sailor and go to sea. I told my mother and father. They were very unhappy about this. Please don't go, my father said. You won't be happy. You know, sailors have a difficult and dangerous life. And because I love him and he was unhappy, I tried to forget about the sea. But I couldn't forget. And about a year later, I saw a friend in town. His father was the captain of a ship. And my friend said to me, "We are sailing for London tomorrow. Why don't you come with us?" And so we sailed from London. But a few days later, there was a strong wind. The sea was rough and dangerous, and the ship went up and down, up and down. I was very ill and very afraid. "Oh, I don't want to die," I cried. "I want to live. If I live, I'll go home and never go to sea again." The next day, the wind dropped and the sea was quiet and beautiful again. "Well, Rob," my friend laughed, "how do you feel now? The wind wasn't too bad." "What?" I cried. "It was a terrible storm." "Oh, what? That wasn't a storm," my friend answered. "Just a little wind. Forget it." Soon I forgot about the danger and decided not to go home. I didn't want my friends and family to laugh at me, so I went to London. There I met the captain of a ship which was going to Africa. The captain invited me to sail to Africa with him. I agreed with pleasure. Now, after listening to a passage from Robinson Crusoe, I would like you to answer the following questions. Where was Robinson Crusoe born? Remember, and look in the text for the information. So how do we formulate the idea? Robinson Crusoe was born in the city of York in the north of England. Let's see the next one. What did Robinson's father want for him? Look in the text. Robinson's father wanted him to get a good job and live a quiet and comfortable life. What did Robinson want to be? Why? Robinson wanted to be a sailor because he wanted adventure and an exciting life. Why did Robinson try to forget about the sea? Robinson tried to forget about the sea because he loved his father and he was unhappy. Why didn't Robinson like his first sea journey? Robinson didn't like his first journey because there was a strong wind, the sea was rough and dangerous, and the ship went up and down. He was very ill and very afraid. The next question: where did Robinson go from London? Being in London, he met the captain of a ship which was going to Africa. He accepted with pleasure the captain's invitation. So, it's a good job if you have answered the same. Now, I would propose you to complete the sentences with the words from the box. Let's see what are these words. Germany, sailor, England, businessman, comfortable, quiet, dangerous, stormy. Let's see what are the words that are necessary to be used here in these sentences. Robinson was born in England. Robinson's father came from Germany. Robinson's father was a businessman. Robinson wanted to be a sailor. A sailor's life is dangerous. Robinson didn't want a comfortable life. Robinson disliked the stormy sea, and he enjoyed the quiet sea. So these are some of the words that are summarizing the information we have read about Robinson Crusoe. In the next activity, we have here to remember WH questions you studied in the previous year. Let's remember. Look here at the picture and the questions that are necessary to be used. So, we use the question who to ask about a person or people. We use what to ask about things. We use where to ask about place. We use why to ask about a reason. We use how to ask about manner. So, if we're speaking about these questions, we should know that there is a specific structure that is characterizing them. So, WH questions are asking to use for was and where after them and before the subject. Then we are using the adjective plus modifier that is necessary or that we need. Another structure with another auxiliary verb is WH questions plus did if it is in the past, plus subject, plus verb at infinitive, and plus modifier. So we have here two different sentences and two different ways of expressing them. An example: who was Robinson's father? So we see that after who, this question, we have used was, referring to father, Robinson's father. Another example: where did Robinson spend his childhood? So we see here did plus subject and plus verb that this time has used at infinitive. Now, write the questions to the following answers. Here you have to practice especially these rules we have recently discussed about. We have the answer: Robinson's father came to live and work in England. We see that the question, the possible question, is why. I have here other sentences that you have to make up questions. Robinson's mother was English. His mother's family name was Robinson. Robinson went to a good school. Robinson wanted adventure and an exciting life. There was a strong wind and Robinson was very ill. I give you a minute to try to make up sentences. Okay, let's see. What are the possible questions? Robinson's father came to live and work in England. Why did Robinson's father come to England? Robinson's mother was English. Who was English? His mother's family name was Robinson. What was his mother's family name? Robinson went to a good school. Where did Robinson go? Robinson wanted adventure and an exciting life. What did Robinson want? There was a strong wind and Robinson was very ill. Why was Robinson ill? So these are the questions and the right structure of the sentences that you should do. Today, at the lesson, we have made up sentences using the new vocabulary words, matched the parts of the sentences and found information about Daniel Defoe, read a passage from Daniel Defoe's most famous work, Robinson Crusoe, and answered questions based on the acquired information. I would like you to remember that the more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places will go. So these are the sayings that Dr. Seuss was mentioning. Thank you for your attention and see you soon.